Welcome back to Money Monday. Remember, you can keep interacting with us on our social media platforms. Thank you to those of you who have been sending in your comments and your questions. I'll be sampling some of them by the end of this show. So the SMS line to you 0791 300 105, DGTV Kenya on Twitter at DGTV KE. So we are here with Kiongozi. So we are talking about saving. But then people ask, why is it so important to save? You know, like mtu anauliza, why should I? Not forgetting statements people make like YOLO, you know, you only live once. How about nikisave leo, kesho siko? You know, as in there are people who reason in that particular way. So why is it so important to save?
It is very, very important to save. One, we save because of emergency cases. In life, you will find yourself serving things, or rather doing things or getting things that you never anticipated for. So as a part of savings, you save one because of the emergency things. You know, things like diseases or maybe health problems. You know, you have things that you also need to cater for. So it is very important to save for that purpose. Number two, you save because you also want to grow. Assuming a person who have been employed for like 20 years, you know, and there is that issue of legacy, you know. So in the 20 years, if you have not been saving, and then you'll be so much concentrating on rather spending, it will also act around your legacy. So we are saying we are also saving now to also bringing in the issue of the legacy you're having or you want to create. So saving, as a matter of fact, is a very important aspect of life, and we have to ensure that we are saving to also guarantee that our legacy is okay. Because when you save, that means you're not only saving for yourself, but you're even saving for your generation that will come. So when they come, they'll find you've probably done the savings well. You've probably invested in things. You know, savings is also part of what they can use to do maybe other projects and all that. And I think that is very, very important to understand that as we are walking this journey of savings. Yeah.
Also, what happens to impulse buyers? Because speaking on behalf of 1,000, 100,000 others, you know, some of people are impulse buyers. Like umepata kitu poa, you just buy it. You found something you've been looking for a very long time. You did not budget for it.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned budgeting while we were starting.
Yeah.
So maybe what happens to such cases?
Yeah. So I think it starts with understanding who you are. You know, every other problem in this life starts with understanding where you are. You know, when you understand that you're an impulse buyer, you probably have now to track your like what I mentioned about spending. So when a person is like when he or she sees something, is like he wants to buy it, one has to keep developing that habit of now having things, although I will mention that about ways you can improve your savings. But when you're an impulse buyer now, you can now prioritize on doing things that are important. You know, have a list of the important things first so that you can handle them first. So that you don't now go finding some chocolates around there,
Right.
yet you have not sorted your bills. So I think it's important when you understand that you're in that category, prioritize on the most important things. You know, work on them, deal with them, and then number one, we say especially when you have money, don't get the money to spend, but rather to save first. So saving should be part of the priority. Even as we know, we are told that when you go to the Bible that you're supposed to give God 10% of your income. It is also very important to understand that even in our lives, probably 10% of what you get should also go to your savings. So it is very, very important to understand that, and that will keep improving with time, so that you're able to handle the issue of savings in case you're having a challenge in terms of how you save, before you spend. Yeah.
Well, so what are the things to consider in terms of, especially before you save or invest? Maybe first of all, you can talk about, saving and investing. There are people who decide, you know what, I'm not putting money in the bank, and then, itakuwa imelala hapo.
Yeah.
Those are the words they use, right? So they choose investing. So talk to us about saving and investing, and then maybe you can talk to us about how you can, or rather things to consider before you do your savings.
Yeah. So in this life, people basically take things differently. So there are people who rather invest than save. And the good thing probably they will say in investing is that when I invest in something probably like land, it will keep appreciating. They will say if I invest in a particular business, at the end of the day I'll be getting some returns. And then the others will say when I save, I'll be able to accumulate something, then I can start up a big project. So some of the things we need to consider on choosing on whether we want to save or invest is probably the journey that you want to talk, or what we could call the financial roadmap. You're probably in a business, there is that roadmap, there is that going concern you have for that business. You're hoping to be in that business for like 10 years, and then you probably, if you're starting like in a small shop, you want like to grow to like a supermarket. So that will determine on probably what you want to do. You either choose investing probably in some maybe shares in a SACCO or in a bank. You'll be getting dividends at the end of the year. Somebody might also decide that because I want to grow my business, I'll now start saving, so I'll probably be getting interest. So that is one of the major considerations when we want to know whether you want to save or invest. Number two, it's also in terms of the income we are also getting. Depending on the income that you're getting, and we are saying our goal is to prioritize savings as number one agenda. So it is important to, it is a consideration that depending on the income that you're getting, you could decide to save, and also you look at the other options of what are the returns that you're getting in savings, and probably the returns that you're also getting in investing. You rate on which is higher, and then you go for the one that is higher, and also the long term and the short term returns. There are returns that will take the longest, and probably you invest in something, and then when you probably save, if you go to SACCOs and banks, you find that they have accounts where you can get interest on a monthly basis. You can get interest on an yearly basis. So depending on probably the objective of whatever you want to do, the course, it will also guide as part of a consideration of what you want to do between on savings on or investing.
All right. Yeah. So for somebody who is out there, those are some of the things to look at.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody is asking, once, I have decided whether to invest or to save, and maybe after the saving, do you guys advise, after the saving, the investment part, you advise that as well? So maybe the right investment to go to after the saving. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe you can advise somebody who is probably has saved, now the money has been lying in the bank, as they use those words, and then they're asking themselves, so I have saved, I have been saving, because there are people who ask, what am I saving for? Maybe you can give some of the ideas, some of the things you actually guide your clients.
Yeah. So, like we talk of health, basically when we mean of the health of the body.
That's right.
But even when it comes to money and economics, we also have what we call financial health. And when you're not a good saver, it also affects your financial health now. And probably, like you said it very rightly, we are saving probably because we are not sure of what we want to do. And I would wish to advise people that when you've saved and you want to invest, let us look for investments that are probably good in returns. And when we want to invest, there is something we call risk. There is something we'll call into something called risk. When you look at projects that are very risky, those are high returns. They bring in a lot of returns. Projects that are low risky will not bring enough returns. And like I have mentioned, it is important, especially when you want to invest, let us prioritize investing in things that appreciate. For instance, land. We've seen over the time that if you look at around here, that so many companies have come up. They are selling land. They have also invested in real estate. So something like land is something very, very important for our people. Somebody who have been saving and he or she is not sure of where he is supposed to invest. So somebody should consider something like land. Number two, I've also told people it's also important to invest in something like business, depending on what you have. You can decide to invest in a business that will probably be giving you returns. And when you're in that business, also ensure that you've also partnered with a particular bank. Build your relationship with a bank or a circle that can help you probably invest in a bigger project that cannot be funded by your savings. So it is so important that when you're in that business, that started as part of your savings, ensure you have a partner, in financial institutions that will help you now build your capacity to invest in bigger projects. And so that is very, very important. So we've said invest in land, in business, and it is also important to invest in things like treasury bonds. We've seen people investing in treasury bonds in the government. We've also seen people investing in shares in the stock market. And at the end of it all, you'll be getting returns and dividends. So it is also important, it's very, very important for our people to understand that when we are able to invest in those areas that are appreciating and are bringing returns, compared to like somebody investing in a car, that is depreciating. If you buy a car and another